The day 3 of the Washington leg, which is June 23rd, Prime Minister's program again would have 4 or 5 key components. The first being his interaction, one-to-one interaction with select CEOs spread throughout the day. Thereafter, Prime Minister will also be hosted by the US Vice President and Secretary of State Antony Blinken at the State Luncheon, which is part of the official state visit. Prime Minister will then interact with prominent professional personalities as also leaders from cross-section of the society at an event at the Kennedy Center. Prime Minister's last engagement in Washington, D.C. will be an interaction with the community leaders immediately after the Kennedy Center event, whereafter the Prime Minister will depart for Egypt. In terms of substantive context of the US visit, if I could just take a minute to highlight some of the key components on which we will continue to speak to you in coming days as the visit unfolds, and depending on Honorable Prime Minister's interaction day to day during his visit to the US. The first is a milestone in our relationship between the two countries. You heard Honorable External Affairs Minister say yesterday, it's a very significant visit, very important visit, a visit on which there is a genuine and widespread deep interest in the United States. 2, the visit is very rich in both form and in substance. 3, key component would be the leadership connect during the visit between the two countries. 4, naturally, an important element of the visit will also be discussion on the bilateral relationships, the line of effort, the objectives that we set for ourselves in terms of looking at next series of transformative agenda items in years ahead. And in that, I guess the effort would also be to build a network in which these new domains of partnership could be properly positioned. I must mention here that Honorable Shri Narendra Modi ji would be among the rare few leaders, world leaders, to have been accorded the honor to address the US Congress more than once. Clearly, another key context which has always continued is a strong and widespread degree of bipartisan support in the US Congress to the strengthening of this relationship. In terms of key elements of the relationship, many of which would feature very prominently during this visit. One, of course, as I said, is the political connect at the leadership level. High level of and very intense level of political exchanges has been one of the key features of our relationship. Just within this month, we have had 3 very high-profile visits from US to India, including of most recently, which is the National Security Advisor of the US, Jake Sullivan. Prior to that, Defense Secretary of the US, Excellency Lloyd Austin. And we also had the privilege of hosting Secretary of State Blinken earlier this year. The second key component which has been a very strong pillar of our relationship has been strong trade and investment partnership. Whether you look at the quantum of bilateral trade touching close to $200 billion or the strong flow of capital on both sides.